we are at the 12 o'clock position on Atlantis Spaceship. We have our red Terran player from FXO. It is GuMiho. He's got to take down this guy over here at the 8 o'clock position. Our blue Zerg player from Acer, winner of the last game, trying to put them just one game away from taking the set. It is Paranoid. And there was the good game, L, good luck, have fun from GuMiho there.
Yeah. Wow, so polite.
I
Thanks.
know.
You too.
These guys are great. Can we just promote both these teams to the Premier Division?
Yeah,
They're just awesome.
I know. I really wish we could. I love Acer and I love FXO. All right, so we are here on Atlantis Space Bear.
Yes, the bear. He has a odd little thing at the top there, but 2 eyes and a nose, 2 ears, in case you're looking for it. So there's the bear.
So I'd obviously expect GuMiho to do something a little bit different than the past. GuMiho can play mech, does not play mech, the majority of the time like the best does. Paranoid, obviously, very, very strong game. That 2-base Zerg style that these Acer Zergs are doing, I'd expect him to do it again. I mean, why not? Why break the mold? They've been doing it every single game so far, but we'll see exactly what GuMiho's build will do and how that affects what Paranoid wants to do. GuMiho
is a player who he's thrown everything from that. You remember that old Marine Kings Prime style look, which was 3 or 4 barracks and then into mech afterwards?
Yeah.
GuMiho was actually really fond of that for a while, but he can play straight mech play, he can play bio play. He's a very versatile TVZer. Now, I know we're talking about the game there, and you mentioned that this is the Atlantis Space Bear. You know there's actually a second bear on this map?
I do not.
There is. Eye, mouth. That's a koala bear. So
wow, that is a koala bear.
There you go.
I can't unsee that one either. Every time I look at this map, I've always seen the bear, and now I will see the koala as well.
So that's pedo bear, and this is a koala bear. So there you go. Just in case you're curious.
All right, so we have hatch before pool.
Yep. Pretty normal stuff coming out of Paranoid so far. And if it's anything like the last couple of games, he's going to go 4 queen and double gas, tech up to layer, and start an infestation bit before he goes up to a 3rd.
You know, we haven't really seen a whole lot of, which we used to see a lot, was the 3 hatch before pool. That's fallen off a little bit. Still happens every now and again, but not nearly as much as it used to be. I think that had a lot to do with the queen buff, and that 4 queens is such a safe opening now.
Yeah.
But on this map in Daybreak, I really think it's pretty safe to do that. And I'm kind of curious why why Zerg players aren't doing that much anymore.
Well, we'll see here what Paranoid decides to do to follow this up. Maybe it's just because he wants to get into tech that much quicker. I'm not really sure, but as he has been favoring a longer 2-base strategy thus far. Yep. GuMiho double gassing after the barracks. This is what I was talking about last time, where the best decided to go for gas before barracks. This is a lot more common. It still gets you up to your factory just about as quick.
Yeah, and it's a little, obviously, like you said, like more standard and less vulnerable to a lot of cheeses. Like last game, if Paranoid had done any kind of a roach all-in or Banling bust, the best probably wouldn't have been ready for it.
Right.
And might have died outright. But still, very fast factory. He'll obviously have a starport when that factory finishes. And, yep, Tech Lab, so it is going to be Banshees. I don't know if it's going to be Cloaked Banshees, but judging from how, Acer's been playing so far, they get the relatively quick evolution chamber, and the Cloaked Banshees really haven't done a lot of damage in either of the TVZs that we've seen so far.
But it is GuMiho, and he tends to do stuff like that, so I would not be surprised if we saw them. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah, and as soon as this factory finishes, we will see the starport.
Yep.
We have the 4 queen build from Paranoid. Standard stuff, 2 gases for Paranoid as well. So we'll see the quick lair that he's been doing each game so far. Gonna spread his creep. Gonna get his macro up.
As I said before, I would not be surprised to see anything but what we saw last game, which is going to be, so far, everything's going according to plan. 2 gas. Now, he did throw down a Roach Horn at about this point last game, and hasn't done so quite yet here because the walk distances are longer.
Yep.
Maybe decides he doesn't need it to stay safe at the moment. He can just delay until he actually needs them in his army composition later on.
And I think he realized with 4 queens against the Hellions, you really don't need roaches. A lot of the times you build roaches just to be safe against that. But when you have 4 queens with transfuses, you really don't need it. And there it is, the quick lair again, circling speed after lair also. So that's always interesting. And it looks like we have Banshees, but will we have Cloak?
Cloak? No, yes.
There it is. So,
and he decided to go actually for a super quick 3rd gas. Dropped that down right at 6 minutes.
Unusually fast. And we'll see if there's a tech lab that he's going to put on this factory. I'd assume so. That's why he would get that 3rd gas. And, and he's going into mech.
Yeah, well, Are you shocked? I'm not shocked.
Not particularly shocked. And there's the tech lab on the factory, tech lab on the barracks that's going to be switched over to the other factory, I'd imagine. And he sees no third base from Paranoid, so it's that 2-base Acer Zerg style, double Evo chamber coming, spine crawler, and I'm assuming because of the spine crawler, he's probably going to get a spore crawler as well in each mineral line to protect from those cloak banshees.
All right, well, Layer Tech is done now, and we'll see what he decides to move with here. We saw Infestation Pit last time. Once again, quick Overseer.
Two Overseers, actually.
Wow, he really wants to defend without that many Spore Crawlers.
And we have the Raven, like last game. I think they were going to say, sorry, I cut you off. But yeah,
no,
I really love the Raven in TVZ. I think Terran players need to get that a lot more. It really, you know, you don't have to scan as much to get rid of the creep tumors. You get a few more minerals at the cost of a little bit of gas, but that Raven with PDD and obviously auto turrets, very, very good, very versatile. And
as we can see, that Banshee's already driven away, even the Overseer's there, and unfortunately, GuMiho, you're not going to get anything done with that Banshee.
I bet he wishes he canceled Cloak, because he's not going to get much use out of that right now.
Yep, we'll see if he's able to use it way later in the game. Sometimes, super late game, it's useful, but we'll find out. Looks like the Overseer did pick up on this Raven as well. Now the gas is starting to flow in a bit better. GuMiho will be able to continue reinvesting back into his eventual Thor production.
And I'm guessing we'll have double Thor coming up. He was saving up to about 600 resources, and there's one. Is he going to build the second one?
Yeah, that's enough for it. And hasn't decided to do so quite yet.
No, he's sitting on a lot of... Oh, he's supply blocks, so that's why. Building 2 supply depots right now, so he's going to get another factory and get supply depots. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. And he's getting Blue Flame and +1. Meanwhile, Paranoid getting 1/1 for Zerglings and getting Infestor energy upgrades, so we'll have exactly the same build as last time.
All right, well, looks like the Hellions swing in. Yeah, very nice position, able to pick off a lot of Zerglings before they eventually go down. Unfortunately, weren't able to kill that many workers, so we'll see if that's going to be worth it for GuMiho.
I like that move by Paranoid, morphing those 2 drones into spine crawlers to prevent any more drone loss there after he saw that they were coming in.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps them alive, and he even recovers most of the resources from those as well. 6 Infestors coming up now with 1/1 upgrades, but of course the upgrades are for melee forces once again for Paranoid. Back on GuMiho's side, though, he finished up a 3rd command center. He's going up to a 4th at the same time that he starts attacking with this Banshee, and he's trying to get some utility out of it at least.
Yeah, gotten 3 drone kills. Not bad. Obviously, it's not quite the trade for Cloak, but if he gets a few more, that would be a very good trade for Cloak. No Overseer. There's the Overseer finally coming. Queen not moving over. Now it is Banshee up to 6 kills, though 7, and it's going to might get 8, yes, before it goes down. So that's actually a pretty good trade for that Cloak upgrade, I would say, in 1 Banshee.
I agree, and especially as he was forced to force those away so quick, but of course his opponent deciding not to go for any of the Spore Crawlers, you know, it may seem like a lot right there when you want to invest in everything else, but it can prevent things just like that.
Yep. And now we have the double Thor production that we were talking about before, getting tanks +1 about to finish, and I'm guessing we'll see +2. And he actually got his hive at about 11 minutes this time, so almost a full minute early. It's already half done. Yeah. And we're just hitting the 12-minute mark, so that's a super fast hive. 2-2 on the way, as well as Burrow, more Infestors, and I'm guessing, and a 4th base as well in an unusual spot. That'll probably get scattered by the Hellions, but I don't think it's in any danger of dying right now.
Here's the problem, though, is that GuMiho is going to have a big opening in a second with all the tech that his opponent is investing into to get out there and just try and do some damage right away. Nice job running this Hellion around. He could actually repair it up a little bit with the SCV, but doesn't do so.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, GuMiho looks like he's moving out for this opening. Has he picked up on this base yet? I don't actually know. He hasn't. No. I'd expect he would scout with the Hellions there, but it looks like he's just going across, and he is going to have a little bit of a window. A lot of Zerglings coming out for GuMiho, but as we see, there are a lot of Bloomflame Hellions on the field already, and he's going to need probably more than just Zerglings to try to clean up all those Thors.
You know, still no Roach Warren, I believe, this entire game, so he got him to use in his army composition to stay a little bit more defensive at the beginning, because that Viking does have 2 kills to its credit. But now, this could be a little bit rough of a situation. Look at that, 4 auto turrets to buffer a bunch of damage, and they stay alive forever. They're actually up for 3 minutes in game.
And 150 HP on them as well. And when you have all the, he's just abandoning the space. Sending his links in the natural, this could do a lot of damage depending on how many tanks are here.
And there's actually none. He didn't produce any. He made Siege Mode, but no tanks. So this is all going to have to be done with these Hellions, which are already starting to be taken out at the moment, but GuMiho's already killed a base.
Yeah, Paranoid does have 2 other bases, but ooh, he's going to get a lot of SCVs here if he controls this well. He's gotten a few. He repaired, so he didn't let him in the main, which is a very good job, but still did some pretty good damage there.
All right, it looks like the Thors are starting to move back. GuMiho is content that he's killed a base. He didn't lose one himself. And workers killed are pretty even between our 2 players, so it's not like he took all that big of a loss.
Yep, here come the Ultralists with 2-2 about to finish up. I would like to see Aspire here just so he has the option of going to Brewlords if he wants to. But, you know, Ultralists are fine against mech when you have the right army composition. Looks like he's going to take out that Banshee as well. So Paranoid in pretty good shape.
Forced out quite a bit of energy. 3 fungal growths and 3 infested Terrans. That's 300 energy actually altogether.
Yeah, that's very similar to what Lucifron did during the European Championship for WCS when he was using those Banshees to pick off infestors beautifully. Same type of idea there.
Now, the other nice thing that Lucifron did was had amazing Hellion run-bys. It wasn't just that he was throwing Hellions into his opponent's bases, it's that he had exactly the right moment when he would cause he would take out a couple of creep tumors or hit a Zergling, so the ping for his opponent would be across the map, and he'd immediately rush him with 4 or 5 Hellions and devastate bases.
Yeah, so we'll see if GuMiho decides to go with similar tactics here, or if he goes for kind of more the death ball mech approach that most people, you know, just get 200 and make an unkillable army. He's approaching that now. He has 6 factories, so he can actually remake this mech army pretty quick, which usually is an oxymoron when you talk about mech, but when you have that many factories, it's actually not that bad to remake. You can make 6 Thors immediately. You can remake Hellions, and he has a pretty scary army composition right now with 3 attack upgrade on the way.
And this Banshee has found the base down at the bottom right-hand corner, so good burrow there from Paranoid, but unfortunately this is all found out, and this is going to be some dead drones.
And meanwhile, GuMiho is moving across the map, and he's getting into that sweet spot between the 3rd and the 4th of Paranoid, and now Paranoid has a hard choice. How does he want to try to engage this army?
I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a rough proposition one way or another. I'm surprised. I mean, finally we have tanks coming up now, but it's been a really long time coming. Just even a little bit of splash damage would be really helpful for GuMiho.
It's because if you get through the Blue Flame Hellions, then Zerglings can just take out all the Thors if you don't have siege tanks. So it's kind of a risky proposition to go this long without tanks, but he did get away with it. And now finally he's going to have to be really careful with those Hellions, though. Yeah,
that was a great scout by Paranoid. Okay, we're going to take a look at this, and I'll kind of show how that happened in a second, as the Zerglings all catching all of the Hellions across the map, even though a couple workers are going down. It's a huge amount of units lost for GuMiho. This Zergling right here, ladies and gentlemen, kind of blended into the map, saw every one of those Hellions. Paranoid was being very attentive to the mini-map, immediately ran down and caught all those Hellions out.
Yeah, and that was about, what, 15 Hellions that he killed for only the loss of a few drones and a few Zerglings. A very, very good trade. And looks like there's only... okay, there are still 12 Hellions around, but he did take out quite a few of them.
Yeah, and, well, those Hellions are all dying in the middle. Looks like he's trying to run through with another set of forces. This one may be a little bit more successful, as there's not a lot here to help defend against these.
Good burrow, though, also, and there's no scan going down. Oh, he's got to be careful with those Zerglings, though. He is going to get us around on the Hellions eventually, though, and he's going to kill, looks like, all of them.
Yeah. Looks like just one Hellion up and remaining, but it's eventually going to die.
So... take stock of here. It looks like GuMiho's still sitting on a max army, but Paranoid is almost maxed himself, still staying with the same composition, and his upgrades are now catching up to GuMiho's. GuMiho, I don't believe, has a defense upgrade on his units, and meanwhile Paranoid does, but he's losing a lot of infestors of the Banshees.
Yeah, he is. This is working out pretty well for GuMiho, so the damage he took in the Hellions before, he's making up and killing infestors, and look at this, he's forced almost all the energy out. Look, there's not a fungal growth available. Yeah, he just neutralized every one of those infestors.
And there's still a Banshee alive to pick off more, and I really do not think Paranoid wants to engage while he has no energy.
No, look how quickly Thor's heal
Ultras, yeah, so he needs Zerglings and he needs the infestors again, and he's going to need some time before he can engage again after using all of those fungal growths.
Once again, the hero burrowed Zergling, though, is going to be able to pick up on these Hellions, and Paranoid's there in time. So despite the losses he's taken, he is reestablishing the space in the bottom right-hand corner. He's got this base here next to the Rich Vespian Geyser. He's got one at the top left-hand that's just about to finish. So GuMiho's looking good. He hasn't taken any economic damage himself, but Paranoid still has pretty monstrous production.
And also, GuMiho still hasn't taken a 5th base. Actually, Whoa, double planetary. That's pretty good. But he's going to need to expand eventually because Paranoid eventually will just outlast him via minerals if GuMiho doesn't take another base eventually.
GuMiho did just kill a lot of Zerglings there, but that's freeing up supply for another bunch of Ultralisks. There's 11 on the field with 3 more. It's going to be a total of 14. GuMiho continuing to push forward and has effectively denied a lot of the mining at this base.
Yeah, with all those tanks there, it's really hard to defend this, and it's also really hard to get mining done if there's any air support. He is putting tanks like in that Tal'Darim-looking nook behind.
Yep.
And the scan's going to kill quite a few workers, rendering the space pretty much useless. But Ultralisk run by into GuMiho's natural here.
It's not something you see often.
No, but this could actually do quite a bit of damage. There's only 1 siege tank and nothing but Hellions to defend.
He's got to make it up the ramp, though, and this is a little bit too long to delay for Paranoid. He tries to run into the into this base as well, so we can see the fleet of starports coming up.
Looks like a battle cruiser transition might be in our future with all of those starports, and he is getting air upgrades, but it looks like Paranoid might actually take down. Oh, can't quite get that planetary.
Last one, it does go down. He kills
yeah.
2 planetaries. Of course, no mining bases, but he does end up killing quite a few units there.
And look at the supply count there. He's actually remaxed, while GuMiho actually isn't. So that was a pretty good trade overall.
Oh. Poor Infestor out in the middle. This is a relatively exposed tank position, though. A few Zerglings would be able to take that out pretty efficiently. And he's actually going full Banshees at the moment. I expected Ravens, I expected Battle Cruisers, but not a ton of Banshees.
Yeah, just more Banshees, and that actually might force Paranoid to get a Spire, because just with the 1 or 2 Banshees, he's been struggling to kill it with the Infestors alone. And when out there he's investing pretty much full Banshees, 4 at a time, that's actually kind of difficult for Infestors to deal with.
Not often you see tanks just straight out DPSing down Zerglings, but when you're on +3 weapons, they are pretty powerful.
And he is getting armor as well now.
Yeah, finally getting +1 armor for his mech forces. These Zergling run-bys are very annoying. They've continued to do damage, but they're not really stopping the bulk of the force that's moving across the map.
Yeah, and he doesn't have an answer to the Banshees right now still. And he is going to lose this 5th base for sure with all that mech up there.
Yeah.
And that's a really hard army to engage. And with just Ultralisk, I don't know if he's going to be able to do it well. Another Ultralisk run by. Going to take out this base at least. That's a lot of SCVs to lose.
Yeah, this one's actually pretty good. GuMiho does lift, so we'll keep that alive. But a lot of workers could go down. And killing a surprisingly few amount, I have to say.
And this mech army is still a giant threat. He's going to have to run from the Banshee. He still doesn't have a Spire. He just made a ton of Banelings, however, but he really is going to have to get a Spire to deal with all those Banshees. All
right, Baneling Infestor Ultra here as he rolls up with most of his forces. Oh, Neural Parasite taking over some of the Thors as well. And the Banelings, actually, when you have them knurled, they won't splash damage the ones you have knurled, so it's actually kind of important to note that. And he's got to start going through some of these Thors pretty quickly, and it looks like he will now.
That was actually a really good move by Paranoid. Now he's going to retake some of them, and he just killed almost all of the Thors in GuMiho's army.
He's got to kill this other Thor here in a second.
That was crazy. Banshees, wow, Banshees just decimated that base while that was going on, though.
And GuMiho is actually down to just 65 supply at the moment. He's got 26 workers. He's trying to reproduce whatever he can, and it's all purely air. He's got 4 Banshees. He's got 4 more on the way, and he's just trying to straight out DPS down anything in the air. Only Banshees and Ultras are being made.
That's insane that we now have a situation where the armies can't really engage each other. I mean, he has these 3 Hellions, but that's basically it. He's now starting to remake tanks and Hellions, but it's basically pure Ultralisk for Paranoid right now.
Yeah, and I don't know how well that's going to work out for him, because with these air forces up, especially with just 5 Infestors, okay, there we go, 5 more Infestors on the way now.
He needed that, because there'd be no way for him to really stop the drone harass of the Banshees if he only had Ultralisk. He really needs that, and he really needs to start making more Zerglings. Look at that. That's just gross.
I'm waiting for the people to cry out on the forums. Yeah, Mule Simba. Well, when you have that many orbital commands, though, and you can put down, let's see here, how many orbital commands actually? That's
6.
Quite a few.
Yeah, so that's it. He really hasn't had to use scans because he had a Raven with his army to kill off the creep tumors. Paranoid needs a Spire. he could put an end to all of this Banshee harass if he just had a few Corruptors. You really don't need that many. And as is, he's getting bases. You know, he lost that bottom right base a while ago. He's lost his 4th. Actually, does Paranoid have any mining going on right now?
A little bit down here on the bottom at the 6 o'clock position, but that's it.
Yeah, and the Banshee's still coming. He really doesn't have answer to this. He's not making Overseers either. I'm just really, really concerned that he hasn't reacted to this very well, and I really don't know why. There's not really a whole lot of excuse for this. No,
it looks like the Banshee will finally get caught up to, but there's now 37 workers, so he's actually caught up and almost surpassed Paranoid in workers. He's almost caught up in supply. He was 65 supply to 140 a second ago, but Paranoid has just let things slip.
Yeah, he really could have just gone and killed GuMiho. I don't know if he realized how far ahead he was, but now he has not reacted well to this game, and he has actually let GuMiho back in it, and GuMiho is about to take the lead in this match.
And look at the amount of forces he has. Now with 2 more Ultras, 13 Ultras is a lot.
Yeah.
It will do a ton of damage.
He does have 21 Hellions, now making Vikings. The Vikings aren't really going to do anything.
Oh, he figures there's got to be a Spire at some point,
yeah,
though.
I mean, you would think so. Oh, look at the Hellions killing all the Infestors, forcing out Fungals and Infested Terrans, and there's just no response from Paranoid right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's wasting so much energy to get this done that he doesn't have enough for the Banshees. That was his last, or he does have 1 more fungal growth. I apologize, but that alone is not going to be enough to take out these forces.
He's made a lot of grievous mistakes in this late game. He's actually doing another Ultra run by just going for a straight-up base trade at this point because he can't really engage the army. And I don't know if Paranoid's going to be able to beat this.
No, but with no Spire, GuMiho can literally just lift things in the air, and he'll be fine because he can win a pretty close to a straight-up engagement with this.
And it looks like, yeah, he's just lifting up. I think he realizes now that Paranoid doesn't have a Spire, and at this point he knows he can't really lose this game. He could only get a tie.
There are 7 Banshees still up, and they're all making their way home. That's all he needs to be able to defend now. So Paranoid's going to try and hang on to the last, but he has lost all of his mining. He lost yet another base. He can't put up another one. He has a long-distance mine up to 300 resources.
And he only has 7 drones in which to do that. I'm pretty sure he's going to tap out now. He realizes he can't possibly win this anymore. He's kind of squandered the advantage that he had. He didn't react to the Banshee switch. He saw the 4 starports a long time ago, but never really adjusted to it.
Oh my god, Banshees have such good DPS.
Yeah.
8 kills, or I'm sorry, 8 Banshees there. The Ultralists are down to just 6. This poor tank actually in the middle going to get destroyed, but still, landed Vikings roll forward and continue killing things.
And the Banshees actually have attack upgrades as well, so they're doing a ton of damage. Now just a few Ultralists left on the field. No production for Paranoid. He doesn't have any way of making anything. Oh, Banshees. Oh, now he's burrowing Ultras to save. Scan's going to kill it. And Paranoid's just kind of delaying the inevitable at this point.
Yeah, he is, because unfortunately Paranoid doesn't really have a shot now. I'm not trying to preemptive call it before it's over, but, well, ladies and gentlemen, it's pretty much over.
Pretty much over, yeah. He's just running around with Ultralists at this point while trying to remote mine with 4 drones. He does have a few Infestors. That's, unless he gets the luckiest fungal growth ever, he's not going to kill all of those Banshees.
Well, there go down the last of the drones, and that ensures that nothing else can be created in this game. No more hatcheries can get put down. Maybe able to make 1 more drone here in a second, but that's about it. And still, GuMiho keeps pushing forward.
Yeah, and Paranoid, I really don't know why he's in this game. There's no way that he's going to be able to hold this off. Even if he does kill everything in the ground, there's still all the Banshees.
All right, 12 the last Ultralisks fall. It's 18 supply and continuing to decrease. No more fungal growths left. Putting out the last couple of infested Terrans. 14 supply, and he's building 2 sets of links. Yes, correct. No, that is going to be all, guys. So it looks like GuMiho is going to put FXO just 1 game away from taking the set and going up to an all-important 2-0 in their group.
Yeah, so just 1 player left, and we'll see if GuMiho is going to be able to take down